Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum. I am your host Faisal Raza Khan and you are watching Foresight. Viewers, recent signs of warmth between Pakistan and Afghanistan, marked by the China's hosting of the recent special trilateral meeting in Beijing. And soon after that, Pakistan and Afghanistan opted for the restoration at the ambassadorial level, the diplomatic relations in between. And especially with China actively promoting connectivity through China-Pakistan economic corridor, and it was in principally decided in that trilateral meeting between Pakistan, Afghanistan and China that CPEC is going to be extended to Kabul. Now, the review of lots of agreements, particularly the transit and trade agreements, is ongoing between Pakistan and Afghanistan. So there is a renewed hope for cooperation and economic integration, particularly between the two countries, Pakistan and Afghanistan. Yet there are lots of serious security concerns remain. Pakistan is still suffering because of the cross-border terrorism, and that is allegedly supported by some of the elements within Afghanistan. Unfortunately, the Tehreek-e-Taliban, or what we call Fitna al-Hindustan, that is disrupting the Pakistan social fabric and inflicting terrorism inside. Now, on the other hand, China and US are the competitors in the region. They compete for influence, one through development and other through the strategic containment of China through India. The region actually risks becoming a battleground for proxies. Now here some of the question arises. Can Pakistan balance these competing powers, or is Afghanistan once again on the verge of geopolitical exploitation? To get answers of these questions and many more questions, we have in our studios Mr. Abdullah Khan. He is the Managing Director, Pakistan Institute for Conflict and Security Studies, PICSS. Thank you very much, sir, for your presence here. And we have Mr. Ahsan Hamid Durrani. He is the Director of the Policy Research Center. Thank you very much, Ahsan, for your presence here. And online joining us, Zaher Sherazi. He is my mentor and also a senior journalist and expert on Afghan affairs. Thank you very much, Sherazi sahab, for being with us online. My first question to you, Abdullah sahab, how do you see the recent cordiality in between Pakistan and Afghanistan when China hosted Pakistan-Afghanistan-China trilateral meeting in Beijing? Then soon after, both Kabul and Islamabad actually agreed to upgrade their diplomatic relations or restore their diplomatic relations to the ambassadorial level, signaling a major shift in the bilateral relations when just China, Russia and the United Arab Emirates along with Uzbekistan have agreed to host Afghan Taliban in the diplomatic arena with the full ambassadorial level relations since 2021, as most countries are actually reluctant to have full diplomatic ties with Afghanistan because of the human rights situation and all others. So how do you see overall aspect of cordiality between Pakistan and Afghanistan? Because it is, we don't have to just take it easy, because it is after at least 15 months of tensions between the two countries.
Thank you, Faisal. Actually, we have to set the record straight, because a lot of people associate the recent development with the India-Pakistan conflict and then China coming into play. But the matter of fact is that the Pakistan had appointed Saeed Khan during last few months of 2024. Then Saeed Khan went to Kabul in December 2024, and Pakistan and Afghanistan started to reshape their relationship. Saeed Khan was once again in Afghanistan in March, and then their Commerce Minister was here after his visit. And then you have saw that Pakistani Foreign Minister, Deputy Prime Minister Ishaq Dar, he went to Afghanistan on 19th April, 18th or 19th April. So all these developments were prior to Pakistan-India tension. And then there was a trilateral meeting. This trilateral forum was ongoing because in 2023 as Pakistani Prime Minister, Foreign Minister, Afghan Foreign Minister and Chinese Foreign Minister had met in Islamabad at that time, if you recall.
Definitely, it was the fifth one.
And on 10th of May, Pakistani Special Envoy Sadiq Khan, Chinese Special Envoy and Amir Khan Muttaqi, they met in Kabul. So things were moving, and at the end we have seen the trilateral foreign minister meeting in Beijing. So we were already realizing this, that we need to have a better relationship, because it was in the Pakistan's interest and it was in Afghanistan's interest, because the confrontational policies from both sides did not pay off. Neither they paid off to us, nor they paid off to them. We had taken a very stern stance regarding Afghan government, but that could not pay off, because the militant attacks, as our think tank monitors, they kept going on. And every militant attack every year is going up. So now we are expecting that Taliban, during this all these efforts, they may do something positive regarding the concerns, because there are 4 points: trade, transit trade, and bilateral trade, and then connectivity and counter-terrorism. So all these three countries, they have agreed that they will not allow their soil to be used against each other, and the very important thing is that all the three countries will resist against the interference in internal affairs of each country. So that is a good message, and I think these days Pakistan is a lucky country that thinks automatically, it is not linked to the India, but automatically, somehow things are moving regarding Pakistan in the right direction from all aspects. My biggest concern was our relations with Afghanistan, and alhamdulillah that have improved. Regarding, you said that only 4 or 5 countries have ambassadorial level of engagement with Taliban government. But Taliban's diplomatic presence is, I think, roughly more than around 40 countries. The charged DFS, just like us, even India and many other countries.
Their diplomatic presence is there in the world, no doubt about that.
The world is engaging. It is becoming a new Taiwan kind of engagement with Taliban. So not recognizing them officially, but engaging them diplomatically, issuing visas, and Taliban are issuing visa, and that was actually accepted by America and Doha agreement, that Taliban will not issue visa to any individual who will be harmful to the American interest. So it was envisioned at that time, the Americans had thought that Taliban will be the visa issuing authority in the near future, and that's happening.
Okay, your point well taken. Ahsan, what about an interesting aspect that the 6th trilateral Pak-China-Afghanistan meeting was actually scheduled in Kabul, and that is scheduled in Kabul soon. But that was basically the trilateral that was held in Beijing was actually the special one, because when Pakistan's Deputy Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar reached Beijing on April 19th on an official visit, then soon afterwards the Afghan interim Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi went to China on a special invitation by the Chinese Foreign Minister. And here this valuable get-together produced a positive outcome of the geopolitical importance. How do you see this urgency within Beijing regarding the Pak-Afghan relations to be not only to be restored, but at the peaceful and positive trajectory to have something positive in future as well?
Yeah, it's a very important question, Faisal, and I think Beijing is very keen, and this is not the first time that Beijing has tried to sit between Pakistan and Afghanistan and help them sort things out. This has happened back in last year as well, in 2023 as well. But this time it's being advertised more, and this time the significance has risen more. And as a result of those efforts, we've seen that Pakistan has restored ties. I mean, the ties were not actually abandoned, but has upgraded ties with Afghanistan, and we've seen that from Afghanistan as well. The reason is that Beijing is invested a lot in Pakistan. More than $25 billion has been invested in the China-Pakistan economic corridor, and Beijing looks towards Afghanistan for exploration and extraction of critical minerals, especially lithium copper and gold in Afghanistan, and instability and cross-border terrorism emanating from Afghanistan towards Pakistan, and then Pakistan taking retaliatory measures in response to those, that atmosphere does not serve the interest of Beijing. So towards that, Beijing is striving, and I think it's a very positive outcome so far. And I think if the atmosphere becomes a win-win situation for every country. So for example, if Afghanistan is involved in economic activities more, so ultimately I think the stake will rise up for them to maintain that status quo of peace and stability. So that's what I think trying the Beijing, it's giving a carrot to the regime in Afghanistan to actually stop the support for the alleged support for the TTP and actually focus on governance and improving the lives of ordinary Afghans and trying to build the economy of Afghanistan, because we've seen that Afghanistan does not have an indigenous economy. For the last 20 years, more than 20 years, it was dependent. More than 85% of Afghan economy was dependent on foreign aid. Only 15% of it is indigenous. And with the poppy cultivation gone,
Yes,
that indigenous economy has gone down more. So I think it needs cross-border trade, it needs indigenous economy, and for that they need the help of Chinese and Pakistan, because if CPEC is going to be extended into Afghanistan, it cannot be unilaterally. Pakistan's permission and Pakistan's consent needs to be there, because it's ultimately the China-Pakistan economic corridor that is going to be extended into Afghanistan. So I think for that, the Afghan authorities need to realize that Pakistan's intentions and Pakistan's goodwill is very important for
Definitely, you are absolutely right, Ahsan, because ultimately the answer to all the sufferings of Afghans, even of the region, the answer is only the development and prosperity, and that only comes through the interconnectivity and economic integration, no doubt about that. Zaher Sherazi sahab, there are undeniable facts that Pakistan facing dramatic increase in fitna al-Hindustan and like TTP and BLA terrorist attacks happen mainly from Afghan and Iranian soil. In most cases, these terrorists operating with the tacit approval or the backing of Afghan Taliban commanders allegedly, and terrorists equipped with latest US leftover weapons are well trained, even Afghan citizens involved in those terrorist activities. Pakistan time and again raised these issues with the Afghan Taliban and Terror Authority. Now, do you see that any of the change in Kabul or concrete actions after the Chinese mediatory role?
Thank you, Faisal. As Abdullah was earlier mentioning, I heard a little bit a different opinion that this Pak-India conflict has totally changed the power dynamics in this region. And there is no doubt that India, soon after this 4 or 5 days clash, it tried to, use their proxies across the border in Pakistani former tribal districts as well as in Balochistan, and we have seen the soft targets were hit. And this was the main plan that India, after losing the battle in active combat, have tried to take a revenge, and it prompted those proxies to carry out attacks on the soft target. We have the school incident, then we have almost 70 to 80 those militants killed, and also it also included some of the Afghan Taliban whose bodies, when went back to their native village, there was a serious kind of a protest as well as condemnation. But I think the important thing happened because we have seen a decree from Maulana Hibatullah, the Afghan supreme leader, that fighting outside Afghanistan, in Pakistan and other Islamic country, it would be totally un-Islamic, and action would be taken against those people. So this is a huge shift in policy. As you were mentioning, the attacks were increased, but obviously there are two reasons. First, there are different kind of proxies, more than almost 20 to 24 militant groups, 16 of them are operating against Pakistan. On top of it is BLA, BRA, BNA, as well as TTP. And the TTP people have, my sources are saying they have been conveyed very clearly that from now on they would be shifting away from the Pakistani bordering areas to Ghazni and other areas, and maybe it's a plan to relocate them So a lot of good things for Pakistan. And China's role is very important because China and Pakistan has repeatedly conveyed to Afghanistan that if they wanted to behave like a state, it has to take action against the militant elements. I've personally spoken to Ambassador Sadek, and in one of the meeting, I think the Afghan leader Amir Muttaqi had clearly, advised Pakistan if Afghanistan is unable to take action against those militant groups which are in the safe havens or in the no-go areas, Pakistan is at liberty to take action against them. So it means this is a second thing, an endorsement that Pakistan can strike against those militants who are based in the no-go areas in Afghanistan. That is another thing. But what are the developments? I think the Pak, China, and Afghanistan trilateral meeting in Kabul, as well as Ambassador Sadek's efforts, and then in Beijing meeting, it was very clearly decided that China and Pakistan are ready to help Afghanistan in trade exchange, in minerals and everything, but it has to take action against those militant groups. And I think TIP leadership has been conveyed that they would not be operating from here. So we have seen in the last few days these activities have calmed down a bit. But on the positive side, we have seen Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Uzbekistan has announced the UAP railway project, which will be started from Tashkent to Peshawar. And I think this is a huge connection. From there, it will be going to the Wagah border as well as to Iranian.
Definitely. You are absolutely right, Sherazi, absolutely right. But what's the futuristic positive impacts of the decisions related to the Afghan refugees' return? As Kabul emphasized on their citizens' dignified return, protection of their rights, their properties, facilitation to sell and allow them to carry the movable properties with them. But this time not actually oppose the repatriation. That is the positive sign. While Pakistan promised to resolve the complaints through a committee, ensure safety and security till the Afghan border. So how do you see overall aspect of the refugees repatriation in orderly and in precise and dignified manner?
Faisal, you have seen now June 30th is a very important cutoff date, and this is for those original refugees are the POR card holders, which the UNHCR and the UN bodies recognize as true refugees, and they are registered in their system. So these are almost like, you can say, 1.4 million. They are documented. Apart from those illegal CCA card holders are the illegal Afghan refugees, which are living across Pakistan. So I think this would be very important because after 30th June, these POR card holders stay in Pakistan will be expiring and they would be asked to leave. So I think Pakistani government during the visit of Deputy Prime Minister Ishaq Dar has, discussed these things. Afghan Supreme Leader has also asked its people to come back. We are willing to give them the land. We are giving to give them concessions to establish their businesses. But obviously, the entire Afghanistan is not feasible enough that all these people should be going back. Now, what is the dignified return? Dignified return is that they are not being forced to, cross over the border. They are not being arrested. So this is a dignified way. But actually, the people who are living illegally under Foreign Act, they have to leave Pakistan. So CA card holders are those illegal people. And then the last and the regularized refugees, they obviously have to go. Now, we don't have any extension in that deadline. A mechanism has been evolved for the immovable property shifting to Afghanistan, their capital, their sale out. So I think this committee would be, and the Afghan elders here, we have spoken to the local Afghan Consul General here in Peshawar. Actually, all the people who are being deported from rest of the Pakistan, like Kashmir, Gilgit-Baltistan, Punjab, and especially southern Punjab, they are now being converging on the provincial capital, Peshawar. So we have seen a lot of addition of those illegal people who are living. So obviously, then the last thing is the provincial government stance. We have seen the chief minister as well as the information minister of the KP. They had been asking the federal government to review its policy, but they don't have a solution that where these illegal people would be going. How these Afghan refugees, which according to the UNHCR data are almost 14 million. So I think this is a very serious issue which have to be tackled. Now, as far as Afghanistan is concerned, I think the world should
point well taken. Sherazi, your point well taken. Abdullah sahab, just earlier this month, on June 1st, 2025, Deputy Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar held a telephonic conversation with his counterpart, Afghan counterpart, acting Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi. And with reference to his April 19th, 2025 visit to Kabul, as Sherazi Sahab was rightly pointing out, that he emphasized on early finalization of the framework agreement of Trans-Afghan railway project from Uzbekistan to Pakistan via Afghanistan, and termed it the vital for regional connectivity. Do you see urgency in Kabul too, because Pakistan is very eager to initiate this project or to push this project forward, to have early implementation of such regional connectivity projects, because ultimately there is a test of time, because we have the CASA 1000, then TAPI and all other projects, then now CPAC is going to be extended to Afghanistan, and this Trans-Afghan railway project is also very vital regarding connectivity. How do you see that?
Before I talk on this point, just give me a few seconds to talk about the refugees issues. Afghan interim government never since 2023, when we started repatriating Afghan refugees, said that they should not be sent back. They always said that they should be sent with a dignified manner. The reason is the Afghan government was very much worried about their presence in Pakistan, because 40 million people living outside their control. They always took these refugees as a threat for their long-term, interest in Afghanistan. They wanted to document each and every Afghan. So this is their interest.
This is again one aspect of another aspect.
They actually
of
wanted each and every Afghan to be under their control, the well documented fingerprints and all these things. That was the reason that they never opposed their repatriation. This is one thing I want to let you know.
Okay, your point.
Regarding this 760 kilometer railway track line, it is very important that it will connect two regions, South Asia with Central Asia, and definitely Afghanistan, Pakistan, connecting two major regions. And it will be automatically become a part of CPAC as well, because CPAC transportation will be there. I think I have seen that Afghan government is also very eager to implement that interim Afghan government, and Uzbekistan as well. And even I have seen what is the biggest Central Asian country, Kazakhstan. They have announced 500 million in support for this project, because it is not just seen as Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan.
So definitely it is going to
the other regional
change whole of the dynamics
yes,
of the Central Asian region.
They all are seeing it as an opportunity for them to connect to the South Asia.
No doubt.
And I think it is very important to keep Afghanistan, stable for these kind of projects. You said that the CASA 1000 and other projects, and TAPI and many other projects.
Afghanistan peace and stability is inevitable when we are talking about
it is very
this.
important, and yes. I think Afghan interim government has to actually work hard to maintain the peace they brought in. They will have to make sure that their soil is not used for proxies against Pakistan, the Indian proxies, anybody else proxies.
Actually,
like
Afghan interim authority must have to work for elimination of these terrorist entities, number one. And the second is, I think so, they have to work for regional connectivity and economic development, because ultimately that will pay dividends to their people, and that will make Afghanistan a peaceful country.
Ball is in their court. How they play it.
No doubt, definitely. Ahsan Sahab, what about the decision to have Pak-Afghan preferential trade agreement, PTA? Afghan-Pakistan transit trade agreement, APTTA, will be comprehensively reviewed and subsequently signed till 30th of June, now this month, 2025. The Khyber Pakhtunkhwa government, 2% of the provincial cess on exports to Afghanistan cut to half, or 1%. While Pakistan announced to unilaterally exempt actually at least the 10% processing fee from 867 Afghan exporting items out of total 1,621, means Pakistan exempted almost half of the Afghan exporting items from the processing fee. How do you see these measures, and particularly these agreements like PTA and APTTA, because these agreements are going to pave the way for having bilateral trade at a new juncture, and have Afghan exports from Pakistan towards different destinations, so that Afghan people must have to be prosperous as well. So how do you see this overall dynamics? And this is because of the outcome of the Deputy Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar's earlier visit, the April visit to Afghanistan.
And Faisal, this is not the first time that Pakistan has actually given preferential trade
Yes.
and done trade agreements with Afghanistan.
This is actually the review of that.
The review of that. Do you remember when the Afghan Taliban came into power back in 2021? Immediately after that, along with humanitarian, sending a lot of humanitarian aid, not just our aid, but Pakistan also coordinated the humanitarian aid, international humanitarian aid.
Even
our
the UN aid and
ambassador,
all that, yes.
Mr. Mansoor was there, and he played a wider role on behalf of Pakistan. But at that time, you remember, Pakistan also announced that will be removing any tariffs from sending goods and receiving goods from Afghanistan, and that was for an indefinite period at that time. But because of Afghan authorities' actions, we had to review that decision in the future. But now with this this new trade agreement, I think it's going to be a huge relief to the people of Afghanistan. And whatever Pakistan is doing is for the best interest of the Afghan people. It's not for who is in the government over there. Taliban may be in government today, maybe in future there's another government who can come. But before Taliban there was the Republic.
These arrangements are actually for the people of Afghanistan.
This is Pakistan's has the best interest of Afghanistan at its heart. So whatever we are doing, sending aid, Pakistan provide a lot of scholarships for Afghan youth who come here and study in the best universities of Pakistan. We've built an hospital just outside Kabul, Jinnah Hospital. So I mean, these are the actions that Pakistan has taken for the Afghan people, and I think with this trade agreement, bilateral trade is going to increase, and it's going to benefit both countries actually economically. And I think we should take more measures on how to further bolster and what are the items that Afghanistan can send us, what are the things that Afghanistan needs from us, and we should actually work on that, because the trade volume between two countries, not just two countries, but using Afghanistan as a transit for sending trade to Central Asia.
This is basically the crux of
the
all
crux of it, exactly.
The issues,
so
really.
I think there's a huge potential for that, and this is a very promising step.
I know that you are continuously in touch with Ambassador Sadiq, and we also spoke time and again to him, and he is very much sincere to these efforts, and because of his sincerity and his hard work, we are getting fruits of cordial Pakistan-Afghanistan relations now. Both the countries are actually eager to rebound those pleasantries with each other and want to have positive trajectory in future. But Pakistan and Afghanistan recently agreed to enhance and expedite bilateral trade, Zaher Sherazi, and to achieve the new heights. Pakistan assured that for transit trade, track and trace system will be fully operational on the Pak-Afghan border from June 30th, 2025. Then beside National Logistics Cell NLC, two additional companies will work to swiftly support the fast-track trade at bilateral level, while integrated transit trade management system, that is ITTMS, at Torkham also going to be operationalized soon. So how do you see these developments? Because Pakistan is now proving through its actions that Pakistan wants to have very close relations with Afghanistan, as we have earlier in past.
Faisal, if you visit nowadays to Torkham border, we can see a state-of-the-art scientific huge trade corridor which has been established there. And I think this is a sign that Pakistan want to do business with Afghanistan, with Central Asian republics. And the issue you pointed out, I think NLC and other organized networks should be operating. I think it will be very much feasible. But as far as the Afghan transit trade is concerned, I think most of this trade has been diverted towards Bandarabad because of the unrealistic policies of the Pakistani government. So Pakistan has to realize that if it actually wanted to bring back those $7 to $10 billion of legal trade, Afghan transit trade, and revisit the economic ties with Afghanistan, it have to take some concrete measures. Because comparatively, Iran is offering more logistic support. They are giving them relief on taxes. So all these things matter a lot, and that's why most of the Afghan traders, they have opted to go towards Bandar Abbas, and even the Indian Chabahar project, it was very much active on that side. So we have to realistically realize that if we have to give them concessions, but actually this one window operation is very much effective. The other two corridors, Ghulam Khan and Kharlachi, it is likely they will be open soon. So I think so a lot of good activities are ahead. And Afghan government has realized, last thing which I didn't mention earlier, Afghan government has now realized that its interests are linked to the safety, security, and peace in Pakistan. And it has now conveyed very clearly to the militant groups that they have to be in their limits. I think perhaps after this militancy and terrorism issue is addressed, Pakistan rely on Kabul for the supply of coal, dry fruit, fresh food, minerals, and all these things. And what Afghanistan would be needing: cheap cement, cheap, other building material. It is mostly relying on Pakistan. So there is a huge potential, not only through Afghan transit trade, but through normal trade and also through border trade. Now we are having huge smuggling. Even the smuggling of dollars is going on. The contraband is crossing into Pakistan. So that is also destroying and neutralizing our economy. So we have to take care of this also. Apart from non-conventional trade, I think this. Yes.
That needs better coordination and have border vigilance as well, because ultimately when you have better relations in between Kabul and Islamabad, these issues, particularly when it comes to customs and related to smuggling and all others, are going to be addressed, no doubt about that. Abdullah Khan sahab, what would be the vitality of the timing of the Army Chief Field Marshal Syed Asim Munir's visit to the United States? He will have an extremely busy schedule there, no doubt about that. Now, especially in the context of overall dynamics of Pakistan-US relations, and particularly what is happening in Afghanistan, when it comes to the US-Pakistan Comprehensive Bilateral Security Dialogue that held in May, and now there would be another one. So, in all these aspects, particularly in counter-terrorism and security cooperation at the bilateral level would be discussed, obviously. So, how do you see this visit at this point in time, when there are lots of things are changing in the region, particularly when we are focusing on Afghanistan?
As per some news, that he will be the chief guest of American Armed Services Day, and that is very important. As you know that General Koirila, yes, he also praised Pakistan as a a significant partner in counter-terrorism.
Yes,
he also said very good things about Army Chief General Asim Munir. So I think this visit is very important. This would be his second visit to the United States. Always Pakistani military had very good relationship with the American military establishment, and some people see the Pakistani relations with America from specific lens. I think from Chinese perspective or some other perspective, but I think if you see that Pakistan is a country which kept a balance between its relations with the United States and China, two competing powers, and Pakistan played a very important role. And here I will discuss it later that how that was important, but you see Pakistan has very good relation with Ukraine as well as with Russia.
Yes.
So this is only with the Pakistan statecraft, I think, at its best. And Pakistan is a bridge between we
don't have to underestimate our diplomacy.
And very interestingly, in throughout, perhaps we gave a passing remarks to the India, but in India, his visit is like, it's like a bombshell in India.
Yes, it is. It is right
like
now.
The Pakistan is now the head of the Taliban Sanction Committee. Pakistan is co-chairing the Counter-Terrorism Committee of UN Security Council. Now Pakistan Army Chief is going there. They see everything from their own lens, but we have not seen.
And another bombshell was the Beijing trilateral meeting as well, because their efforts were to have some sort of a soft corner in Kabul,
yes,
so that their interim machinery might work for India rather than for the regional connectivity.
Yes,
and all
but
that.
One thing I would like to highlight that the positive trajectory started during Joe Biden's tenure, because during previous Trump tenure, Pakistan and US relations were not very good.
Definitely.
Trump had issued very negative statements against Pakistan. But the only thing which I have seen the continuity of the American policy is the Pak-America relations.
Yes.
America has released the funding or the money for the Pakistani PAF F-16 maintenance, $300 million plus, which was, when the Trump was holding money for everything. Even US said they release the money. Now our army chief is going there.
Curbing international aid and
counter-terrorism
cooperation
was revived in 2023 and onward. Many meetings have taken place. The American business delegation was here. So America and Pakistani relations are improving. Equally, Pakistan and China's relations are improving.
Although it's a roller coaster ride always, this
is our expertise. Actually,
definitely, it is. No doubt about that. Abdullah Khan sir, you have just mentioned about the US CENTCOM commander, General Michael Kurela. He outlined actually before the US House Armed Services Committee and praised Pakistan's role in the counter-terrorism war, also acknowledged the sacrifices, the precious sacrifices Pakistan rendered actually in this war against terrorism. And he also mentioned about Pakistan's actions against Daesh Khorasan as well. So viewers, just listen what General Michael Kurela actually said before the US House Armed Services Committee.
You talked about ISIS-K in Afghanistan in your opening statement. I'd like a little deep dive if you don't mind.
Sure. ISIS Khorasan, perhaps one of the most active in trying to do external plots globally, to include against the homeland, through a phenomenal partnership with Pakistan, they have gone after ISIS Khorasan, killing dozens of them. Through a relationship we have with them, providing intelligence, they have captured at least 5 ISIS Khorasan high-value individuals. They extradited back Jafar, who was one of the key individuals behind the Abbey Gate bombing. And the first person he called, Chief of the Army Staff Munir, was me, and said, I've caught him, I'm willing to extradite him back to the United States. Please tell the Secretary of Defense and the President. So we are seeing Pakistan, with limited intelligence that we're providing them, go after them using their means to do that. And we're seeing an effect on ISIS Khorasan. At the same point, they are continuing to move around. Sometimes they will try and go back into Afghanistan. We have the means to be able to collect, but for the most part right now, they're hanging out right in that border area of Pakistan. And I would also tell you that, since 2024, the beginning, Pakistan had over 1,000 terrorist attacks in the western area, killing about 700 security and civilians and 2,500 wounded. They're in an active counterterrorism fight right now, and they have been a phenomenal partner in the counterterrorism world.
Does it seem like they're scaling down or scaling up?
So I think from ISIS Khorasan, they got hit very, very hard over the last several months. And so I would tell you right now, they're at a low point right now. What we're getting out of interrogation and exploitation has been significant. We have to have a relationship with Pakistan and with India. I do not believe it is a binary switch, that we can't have one with Pakistan if we have a relationship with India. We should look at the merits of the relationship for the positives that it has.
Viewers, you have just listened what the US CENTCOM commander, General Michael Kurela, said before the US House Armed Services Committee. My question to you, Ahsan, is that what's the vitality of this statement of General Michael Kurela outlined before the committee? The threat of the Daesh Khorasan posted in the region and globally acknowledged Pakistan's precious sacrifices and the crucial role against the Daesh Khorasan, arresting lots of high value, at least 5 he was mentioning about, and termed Pakistan as a phenomenal partner in the counterterrorism war. Reaffirmed the continuation of the counterterrorism cooperation with Islamabad, and while emphasized on pressing challenges to the regional and the global security right now.
Faisal, it's a very important statement, and I take out 3 important things from this statement actually. The first is that US is still invested in the region through counterterrorism cooperation because it sees ISKP, ISIS Khorasan, as a vital threat, not just to its interest, but to US homeland as well. And General Kurela is a very important military leader. He's the commander of the CENTCOM. This statement coming from him has a lot of value, especially if it's a public hearing in front of the congressional committee. Secondly, he talked about phenomenal relationship, phenomenal partner, Pakistan as a phenomenal partner. Again, a very important statement, especially that it comes after when Trump praised Pakistan in the State of the Union for handing over the perpetrator of the Abbey Gate attack, which happened in the Kabul airport back in 2021. So again, a reiteration of that notion that Pakistan is important for a robust counterterrorism partnership, and we share that partnership. Pakistani military, our government has taken pride in that partnership. For more than 20 years, we have cooperated with the United States.
And, for 20 years, they were here. That is necessary when it comes to the regional security, particularly Pakistan's own security.
Pakistan
it is important.
And Afghanistan.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Pakistan and Afghanistan, including overall region, and America is a vital partner in that, no doubt about that.
And the third and the most important one, when he, in the end, he talks that, you cannot look at Pakistan and India in a binary. It's not a switch like you can turn off relationship with Pakistan and then have good relation. So that's a very important, and I sort of feel that he stepped out of his role, because it's not a journalist's place to talk, but he stepped out of his role to say this thing, because he feels that it's important that, there is a huge,
there is an urgency within the Trump administration as well, and even when we are talking about the Pentagon and
so he stepped out of his role to reiterate that, Pakistan is an important partner. Pakistan, US should have strong relationship with Pakistan. So I think that's a very positive statement.
But definitely, a feeling is something else, but I think so that the concrete actions will pave the way to have real-time stability in the region. Sherazi, earlier Pak-US agreed to address the weapon crisis in Afghanistan, but that still needs to be translated into the genuine actions. As recently, the US Defense Secretary Pat Hegseth ordered a comprehensive review of the United States' chaotic military withdrawal from Afghanistan in August 2021, when several killed at the Kabul airport in an ISK bombing. Is there any prospect that during Pak-US counterterrorism dialogue, some of the bilateral and the trilateral, including Afghanistan, might be, it is just a case scenario, that a kind of a bilateral or trilateral commission or a mechanism to be derived to address the issue, especially to trace, audit and retrieve the US weapons from Afghanistan?
Well, Faisal, it is very interesting. I think when the US were fleeing, rather I would not say they have withdrawn, but they have literally fled third time Afghanistan, leaving people of Afghanistan and Pakistan in a lurch. And where was that more than, almost 3 to 5 lakh regular trained Afghan army? Most of them had been keeping those individual weapons with them, apart from the heavy weapons like tanks and those dismantled aircraft and other thing. I think the personal weapons were with most of those soldiers when they surrendered to, or they just went into hiding. Perhaps majority of those weapons went into the hands of the militant elements. Even the sale and purchase of those weapons was openly going on. So that was also a serious threat, not only to Pakistan, but the region as well. And as far as the US role, we were earlier, as Ahsan was saying, that perhaps US do have a lot of interest in this region. And the topmost is that it wanted to keep its foot here, because it would not be leaving China and other regional countries to, have progress here because of the military reasons as well as because of the economic reasons, because the counter-China policy of the United States. I think the US has never left Afghanistan. It is present in one way or the other here. And, this huge pile of weapons and the mercenaries are the people who are available on rent in the form of ISK, the TTP, TIP. I think this is also a very serious threat. Apart from the US cooperation in counter-terrorism, perhaps Pakistan, Iran, Central Asian republics and Afghanistan has now realized that until and unless they are not taking action against these armed groups, whether they are good Taliban or they are their affiliates or whether they are their half brothers or not.
Definitely.
I think this region could not
You are absolutely right,
Yeah.
because the regional cooperation is a must when it comes to the counter-terrorism and to eliminate all these elements which are right now took refuge at the Afghan soil. I think so Afghan Interim Authority is also very sensitive on these issues as well as the other regions, particularly Pakistan. So one question to you both, that is Afghanistan emerging as a intersection of the US and China strategic rivalry, with Beijing pushing for the regional connectivity through China-Pakistan Economic Corridor and lots of other projects as well, and Washington actually aligning with India to contain China, now entrusted to have win-win relationship with both India and Pakistan as well. Can Pakistan realistically navigate this geopolitical tug of war between the two giants, and is the region actually heading towards renewed proxy conflicts that threaten both stability and development in the region? Please, sir. Very short and brief, because we have run short of time. So.
Okay. I think we should keep history in mind that the Pakistan was the bridge between the establishment of US and China relations when the Henry Kissinger had visited and Pakistan had facilitated. So still I see it that there is no tension, because Pakistan historically always kept a balance between its strong relations, strategic relations with China, as well as somehow transactional relations, but very strong relations with the US as well. So I see it, there is no competition, and Afghanistan can be a place where the Americans and the Chinese sit together for the stability, because if
China-US relations must have to be converged within Afghanistan,
and the stability in Afghanistan is something which is the common interest for everyone, because if Afghanistan is disturbed, the whole Asia, it is the heart of Asia.
No doubt, no doubt. Durrani sir?
Yeah, I think I'll just reiterate the point that US and China, they both have same interest in Afghanistan, because Afghanistan becoming a hotbed of global terrorism does not serve the interest of both countries. So I think it's sort of a unique case study. And of course, when you talk about the stability in Afghanistan, Pakistan is an important player. So Pakistan sort of plays a very stabilizing role. And we're trying to do that, and Pakistan has its own set of, because Pakistan is very close to China, then we have very close military relations with US. So Pakistan in its own is a very unique case study. You see that a lot of our military equipment is coming from China now, but we also have a top of the state-of-the-art military equipment, sort of
No doubt
F-16 from US. So it's a case study, and Pakistan, whatever it is, whatever happens, at the end of the day, Pakistan should think about its own national interest. That we should safeguard.
Definitely, no doubt about that. No doubt about that. Abdullah Khan sir, thank you very much for your presence here. Thank you very much, Ahsan Durrani sir, for your presence in the studios. And I'm really thankful to you, Zaher Sherazi sir, for being online and very candid and elaborative views. Thank you very much for your presence and for your views as well. Viewers, as you have just listened to our panelists, three are very important and very critical when it comes to the regional security, to abolish this terrorism from this region and to have development and prosperity. Number one is the China-US tug of war. That is there, but Afghanistan, as our panelists suggested, that Afghanistan could be a place where both United States and China can converge, and they can have just leave their differences and to focus on this counter-terrorism. Because the thing is that China has lots of threats from the East Turkestan Islamic movement, and on the other hand, US has the threats from Daesh Khorasan, and Pakistan has the threats from the Fitna al-Hindustan like TTP, BLA, BRA, BNA and all others, even Majid Brigade. So these are all existing there. These terrorist entities are existing there at the Afghan soil. So we have to help Afghanistan to rid off all these terrorist elements and to have prosperity, and Afghanistan act as a bridge between Central Asia and South Asia, particularly between Pakistan and the Central Asian state, and that will benefit the Afghan people. And that's why the transit trade agreements between Pakistan and Afghanistan, smooth trade between Afghanistan and Pakistan, and then the Trans-Afghan Railway, the CASA 1000, TOPI, and all other projects are very vital in a sense that we have to grow, we have to be prosperous. June 30th cutoff date 2025 is very important in that sense, that there are lots of decisions are going to be signed or would be taken on this date. This is the cutoff date for that, and we have to move on with that. Here I also mentioned that Army Chief Field Marshal Syed Asim Munir's visit to United States is also very vital because there is a lot of counter-terrorism cooperation going on between Pakistan and United States. So we have to be very hopeful on that sense that this region will get lots of positive news as well. Now, important thing is that India is actually the linchpin. We have to be very cautious on that because the China containment of policy of the US is not ended right now. It's already there and India is working on that. Regarding the Pak-Afghan ties, what happened in Beijing, the trilateral meeting between Pakistan, Afghanistan and China, India is annoyed at it. So as India as well as its proxies are under severe pressure now, and they can do anything nefarious. So we have to be vigilant on Pak-Afghan border, particularly when we are talking about Kabul and Islamabad. So we have to be vigilant on all these aspects. This is all from today's Foresight. It's time to sign off. Allah Hafiz.